Khatkar on the behalf of Department of Civil Engineering, Government Engineering College, Bilaspur. Welcome you all in the third day's first session. I am overjoyed to take this opportunity to introduce our resource person of this session, Dr. Samir Vajpai, currently working as professor in Civil Engineering Department, NIT Raipur. He has experience of 26 years in teaching, research, and consultancy. He has a great ability to handle projects independently. He had obtained PhD degree from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh in 2009, and he has supervised six research scholars for PhD. His research interests include environmental engineering, wastewater treatment, environmental management, air pollution monitoring and modeling, and solid waste management. He has completed an AICTE-sponsored project on air pollution monitoring in Chhattisgarh region. He is also esteemed member of various departments and committees of Government of India and Chhattisgarh government. He is the head of training and placement in NIT Raipur. He has authored many articles published by reputed international and national publishers, several research papers, and review articles in peer-reviewed journals. He will be discussing on topic environmental management in smart cities. Without further ado, I welcome Dr. Samir Bajpai. Please, sir.
Thank you, Professor Indrani, for this nice introduction. Thank you so much. And also, I take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. M.L. Agrawal and all the coordinating team for this 1 week faculty development program for giving me this opportunity to connect with all dear faculty members, RDL colleagues across India. So thank you so much. GEC Bilaspur is very close to my heart as I started my career with GEC Bilaspur with Professor Agrawal. So we are old friends, and I cherish our friendship also, and I have fond memories of GEC Bilaspur stay also. So my topic is on smart cities, particularly environmental management. So let me share my slide presentations with you so that we have some background to talk about, and then we will start. So you have made me presenter now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I am presenter. Okay. So I am going to share content, but
yes,
it's showing. It is not showing me the table.
What it is showing, sir?
It is flashing. Some boxes coming, then it is going away.
Just click on the box, sir, and the share option will come.
Yes. Share content, it is showing on top of my screen. When I am clicking, nothing is coming up actually.
Sir, main box उस टाइप का आ रहा होगा सर कि एक बॉक्स मतलब वो स्क्रीन उसके अंदर स्क्रीन उसके
वो नहीं खुल रहा है. That is not opening up.
Share.
So what I'll do is I'll just mail you my slide, है ना?
हाँ, you can do that, sir.
You can operate from your end, है ना?
हाँ.
Will it be possible?
हाँ, yes, sir.
Okay,
सर वैसे ऐसे शेयर बटन क्लिक करने पे अभी मतलब स्क्रीन पे क्या आ रहा है सर? एक बार
स्क्रीन पे क्या कर रहा है वो जैसे
एक के अंदर
है ना, शेयर कंटेंट में क्लिक करता हूँ, देन इट शोज हाइड शेयर ऑप्शंस. इट शो बॉक्स जो आता है ना वो तुरंत फ्लैश करके खत्म हो जाता है. तो मुझको क्या लगा कि आपने मेरे को प्रेजेंटर नहीं बनाया है. आई एम नॉट अ प्रेजेंटर, दैट इज व्हाई आई एम नॉट एबल टू डू इट.
प्रेजेंटर तो आपने सर मतलब बना दिया हो इसने.
तो चलो मैं 1 मिनट लगेगा.
हाँ जी सर.
What I'll do is I'll mail you this thing, है ना? It is on my screen only. What's your email ID?
Sir, Vivek.Rathore, VIVEK,
हाँ,
.RATHORE,
okay. Vivek, Vivek, हाँ, Vivek.Rathore, gcbsp.ac.in, eh?
हाँ, yes sir, yes sir.
Yes. Okay, so I have sent it.
Okay sir.
You can upload it from your end. Sent.
Okay.
So when I was looking for this topic, first thing is why I selected this topic. I'm sorry for the inconvenience caused to all the participants. This happens sometimes. And I am not very comfortable actually. Google, this Microsoft team I don't use regularly. So when I was looking at your this thing, when Professor Agrawal called me and asked me to deliver something, then immediately the thought came to me that we are talking about smart cities a lot, and a lot of money is being spent. Around 100 cities across India are have been actually rather selected to develop as smart cities, and a lot of resources are being invested to develop these cities as smart cities. But basically, what actually we are forgetting is that sorry, that any city will be smart if it is sustainable, because if you look at history, there are numerous examples where cities have died down, and cities came into being, they flourished, they actually were guiding light of civilizations of that time, and then gradually they fade out, they died. Why this happens? And that is the question we should ask, and how we can like make our cities sustainable, long lasting. So I slightly modified my topic, environmental management for sustainable smart cities. And this is not my terminology. Now, modern day urban developers who are talking about smart cities are basically talking about sustainable smart cities or smart sustainable cities in this term. And I am very happy when I was looking at the brochure and schedule of various lectures. Lot many topics are oriented towards this thing. Our chief guest, Mr. Shailen Shukla, actually talked about energy in context with a smart city. And as I know him, he must have talked about sustainable energy sources and all. So that is vital requirement. Then I see couple of more lectures coming up, particularly one lecture on urban planning, urban growth and planning by Professor Sakat. He will be talking about urbanization in detail. Then you have another lecture from a stalwart in solid waste management, Colonel Saab, and he will be talking about solid waste management. So keeping these lectures in mind, and I have focused basically on water and wastewater management. I will be touching upon solid waste management if time permits me. Otherwise, we'll be discussing more on environmental management in context of wastes, liquid and solid. Okay. So next slide, please. So if you look at a city is, you can say, in present civilization, we have different classification of cities, and we have mega cities, we have metro cities, like that. But basically, a city is a large human settlement, and if you define it, it is a permanent and densely settled space with administratively defined boundaries, and revenue boundaries are fixed. That this is city's boundary, whose members work primarily on non-agricultural tasks. So this is, you can say, accepted definition of modern concept of city. And basically, the concept of city actually came, it was historical, but till agriculture was the, you can say, major source for of the community, of the civilization. Cities were not there. You have large settlements, mostly settled around water sources. Concept of city came when industrial revolution took place, 1700, part of 18th century, you can say. When industrial revolution came, we all know when machine came, and when we have energy source, particularly steam engine came. With the advent of machines and steam engine, basically all the work which was done by human beings or animals was transferred to machine driven by power generated by steam engines, which are basically generating steam from coal. So first time in human history, it was possible to produce and to manufacture goods at large scale at a small place. And earlier, you can say, when human beings were involved or animal power was involved to do something, take example of making clothes and something. So a human being with hands and all could have stitched only few number of cloths, but with machines, it was possible to stitch thousands of cloths per day. So this industrialization made actually requirement of large number of human labor, human resources, manpower to sustain this machines, these industries. And these industries mostly located at the source of their raw material. So different type of industries mostly located at the source of their raw material. And this actually forced communities to develop mode of transports. So railways came, shipping came, road network came, so that from production center to the distribution sales center, you can send your goods and all. So this way, this industrialization actually forced urbanization, and this is how cities evolved. Now we see that we are going to the next level. Next type of revolution is there, which is being called Industry 4.0. And the thing which is driving this revolution is digitalization. So digitalization is giving another new shape to our cities. And actually, with we being technical in technical field, we should be aware that how this Industry 4.0 technologies and other technologies which will be coming up in future, how they are going to affect actually our habitations, our way of working, our production processes, our management processes, our service sector, everything. Next, please. So city is a dynamic system. If you look at it, it is a small movie made by Shell. So I don't know how it will be this thing. Vivek, can you click on this movie? I hope that
yes.
it works. Just click on it. It's not coming up?
Yes, sir.
Now it's coming. Yes, yes. This is a video made by Shell. Shell is working on a lot with other collaborator on.
Cities are like people. They need energy, water, food. They live and breathe, grow and change. Just like people, no two cities are the same, but they do have features in common. Research sponsored by Shell in conjunction with the Center for Livable Cities has grouped cities into 6 categories based on those features. Underprivileged, crowded cities tend to be large and densely populated, but they consume less energy than most. A relatively low population is a feature of some underdeveloped urban centers. Less energy is needed for homes, although transport systems can increase energy use. Prosperous communities of people with high incomes are mostly found in smaller cities. These are highly livable, but with energy challenges of their own. Some fast-growing and densely populated cities fall into the category of developing megahubs, where the majority of people are on low incomes. High energy use for cars and homes is associated with sprawling metropolises, where 3 million people or more live. Finally, urban powerhouses are large cities with dense populations. They are highly developed with energy-efficient housing and transport. These insights will provide a better understanding of how cities develop. And that will help us plan for a future where cities are more energy efficient and more livable. To find out more, download new lenses on future cities now.
Thank you, Vivek. So that was, you can say, sort of documentary from Shell. And Shell is working with some institutions to actually plan for the future cities and how future cities can be sustainable, particularly. So basically, if you look at cities from Shell documentary and the concepts of urbanization and cities, they are confluence of people. Places where people live, meet, exchange ideas, earn livelihoods, access education, health, and other services, and enjoy a life of good quality. So, whenever we are planning something for a city, we should always remember these objectives and why people will come to a city and why people will continue to enjoy life in a city, continue to live in a city, and not leave it. They should have this thing opportunities to meet, exchange ideas, to earn livelihoods, to access education, health, and other services, and most importantly, enjoy a life of good quality. You might be hearing to various experts and also reading in newspapers or news media that lot many companies are shifting their offices from New Delhi because of air pollution situation in New Delhi. So New Delhi is losing business, and people are hesitant to come to NCR for even they are being given better career opportunities. So that's the way. Well, people, city provide opportunities, but it should also provide a life of good quality. So that's very important when you are planning for a city. And particularly it becomes important when we are investing such a large amount through this smart city mission. And the core this thing to enhance attraction of people to city should be that we this all these schemes, all these missions, and various projects under this mission should be able to provide this people continuing better quality of life. So people are at the heart of any city, and before you are doing any project for a city, whether you call it a smart project or any other project, you need to understand the city culture. And like in documentary, the narrator was saying that every city is different. So you need to understand the ethos, the culture, the society, the people of that city, and then plan whatever projects you are planning accordingly, and make people part of that planning process. So every city has a identity, unique identity. The town you are living in has some uniqueness. We have, particularly in India, we have so these identities so pronounced that you can't actually equalize these cities. You have a different, Bombay is a different city. Banaras is an entirely different city. Delhi is a different city. Kolkata is an entirely different city, and Chennai, again, a very different city. So before you go for any planning, you need to understand people living in the city, their value system, their ethos, and understand culture of the city as a whole. Next, Vivek, please. So a famous quotation by John Gell, which different speakers will also be quoting, because it's very popular, this quotation. Whenever urbanization, urban development comes into discussion, people quote John Gale basically. We shape cities and they shape us. So we are transforming cities and cities are also transforming us. There is a very close relationship of citizens and the city. So now the question comes that what is a smart city? What is the concept behind smart city? So basically, if you look at various definitions, and nowadays everything is available on online through various search engines. And if you search for definition of a smart city or concept of a smart city, you will find that the origin of smart city concept is in basically application of technology to provide various products, various services to make life enjoyable and livable in a city. So original definition of a smart city is heavily technology oriented. It talks about integration with ICT, It talks about integration with electronics and communication. It talks about integration with other technologies also. So most of the definitions, heavy integration of technology, per se city development. This relationship should be there. So whatever functions are there in a city, all these functions, all these delivery systems should be integrated with latest in technology, so that these functions become more efficient, more effective. So that was the idea. But fortunately, in India, our government realized it early, at the early stage itself. And the government of India 2014 document about how to make cities smart, if you refer to that document, that it states that a smart city offers sustainability. So it's very important actually, and it is heartening to understand that our government has realized that cities have to be sustainable before becoming smart, and smartness and sustainability should go hand in hand. So smart city offers sustainability in terms of economic activities and employment opportunities. Okay. Now this concept of sustainability is directed towards economic activities, meaning that city should provide economic opportunities, professional opportunities, business opportunities, commercial opportunities to its inhabitants continuously. When we talk about sustainability, you know that we are talking about requirements of future generations being met without any hindrance or without any complications or without any compromise. That is the basic concept of sustainability. So here the definition of sustainability is again talking about economic activities, sustainability of economic activities, because that is that is very essential requirement for very survival of a city. Otherwise, people, if there are no economic opportunities, what will happen? People will start leaving that city and going to a city which is providing better opportunities. That is why we see so many people migrating to Bombay, leaving their own cities. People leave Allahabad, people leave Lucknow, people leave Patna, and then come to Bombay. Why? Because they feel, rightly or wrongly, that their city may not provide them the opportunities for their growth, economic and social, and they come to Bombay or some other big city. And second, sustainability is employment opportunities, and both are interlinked. Economic activities will generate employment opportunities. So basically, so here the most important term, sustainability of resources, that is hidden actually, that is not coming up directly. So we'll discuss about that later. So sustainability in terms of economic activities and employment opportunities to a wide section of its residents, regardless of their level of education, skills or income levels. Again, this is a very important component of this definition. It's not talking about education level, it's not talking about skill level, and it's not talking about income level. Means any person who is in that city, who is coming to that city, may be uneducated, may be unskilled even, and may be having zero income, should have some economic opportunity, some employment opportunity to find life in that city. And that's very noble idea. But in reality, with changing technology, changing requirement of more efficient, more economical process of manufacturing, it's becoming difficult. And you will be surprised to actually know that if you look at 2011 census data, we are on the threshold of next census. 2021 is the next census year, and every decade India conducts census, and it started long back. India, you can say globally, is one of the few countries who have started census long back. If I remember correctly, it started in 1926. So we have a very long history of census data. And if you look at 2011 census, actually, it threw a very alarming trend, you can say, a remarkable trend, you can say. What came up in that census data, to the 2011 census, that urbanization is there, rapid growth in urbanization is there, but reverse migration from mega cities like Bombay, Kolkata, Bombay particularly, and has started. So this data came into this thing, and this reverse migration is having towards type B cities or type 2 cities, basically you can say. And when people explored this information, this data, they found that why this reverse migration is taking place. So a very interesting fact came actually. They say that this urban development in these mega cities is in such a way that people coming from surrounding villages, surrounding towns with zero skills won't be able to get employment. The employment requirements have shifted. Earlier, what happened in these cities or in our cities, anybody who is coming to a city, any poor person will immediately can start driving rickshaw, जो manual driven rickshaw है, cycle rickshaw, and they will start earning. Any poor person can start this thing using hand cart to transport goods. Now, if you look at the present mode of transport system in our cities, we have this divider on the roads, and roads have been divided. Solid divider fencing is there to segregate the traffic in both the directions. And there are few openings in these dividers, and though these openings are also at a very long intervals. Now, imagine the plight of that rickshaw puller or that hand cart puller. To take he has to move to some other this thing direction to with his passengers or with his goods, and it will take lot of efforts, lot of energy, lot of time. So these were basically zero skill jobs similar to this. So lot many zero skills jobs have vanished because of changing urban development in cities, and this is happening this practically all cities now. In the very near future, basically most of the even type 2 cities also will not have opportunities for this zero skill people to come and earn livelihood. So that's a disturbing trend basically, because if you don't provide employment opportunities to people, it may lead to law and order situation, and it may lead to chaos in society. So it is our obligation actually to provide opportunities to every individual, and we need to promote education, and we need to promote skill development also. So that's part of definition of smart city as far as India is concerned. And our honorable minister of housing and urban affairs, actually, he has stated it correctly. Smart city basically is a path breaking journey, and this journey is path breaking. We are going into new direction to transform the way they provide core infrastructure and services. And here he is talking about clean environment and better quality of life. So better quality of life is not possible without clean environment. So our honorable minister is actually giving the crux actually basically behind the concept of development of any urban city, that not only should provide infrastructure and services and efficient and effective infrastructure and services with low cost, but it must also rather provide clean environment and better quality of life. And our Prime Minister has famously said this slogan, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas. So, this Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas, it must be targeted to make our cities sustainable. And sustainable, we talk about sustainability of economic opportunities and employment opportunities. But this sustainability, next slide, Vivek, please. This sustainability will be possible only with the resource sustainability. If resources are not there, then you don't have economic opportunities. If economic development, economic growth is not there, then you don't have employment opportunities. So these are very closely interlinked. And these are some definitions actually about smart cities. So I won't be going in detail because we mostly covered most of these aspects. Next, please, Vivek. So that is the question which I put to you, and that what is the most important requirement to ensure sustainability of economy and employment? Our definition, our concept of a smart city is talking about these basic requirements. That is the basic concept through which Government of India's smart city mission is moving ahead. So the question is, what is most important requirement? Next, please, Vivek ji. So actually, United Nations Economic Commission for Europe and International Telecommunication Union. Actually, this smart city concept is driven by these two agencies. And they have done a lot of work on this smart city project, particularly International Telecommunication Union. And since International Telecommunication Union is involved, it is highly technology oriented. So they have developed a joint definition of smart sustainable cities. Now, like I was telling you, that people have realized that only smart cities won't work. You have to come up with smart sustainable cities. At the start of this movement, global movement, a smart city was there, but soon people realized their folly. And now it is all everywhere, it is being recoined as smart sustainable cities. And they took actually expert opinion of around 300 international experts to develop this definition. And the definition, which was, you can say, Amrit Manthan. And after this Amrit Manthan, this definition came. A smart sustainable city is an innovative city. Innovative is for technology input, and concept input, idea input. A smart sustainable city as an innovative city that uses ICTs we all understand, and information communication technologies, and other means to improve quality of life, efficiency of urban operation and services, and competitiveness, which while ensuring that it meets the needs of the present and future generations with respect to economic, social, environmental, as well as cultural aspects. So this is now the accepted definition for smart sustainable cities. And this definition beautifully covers all the aspects. And it is talking about innovative cities. City should not sit idle. If it has reached a certain level of development, you can't rest on your laurels. Other cities are there to compete with you. They will take opportunities from you. So you have to be continuously innovating yourself, continuously regenerating yourself, continuously remodeling yourself. And how you can innovate, how you can remodel, what will be the tool? ICT and other means. And what is the purpose? To improve the quality of life. And quality of life will improve with the efficiency of urban operation and services. So this innovation, this technology will bring efficiency and effectiveness in various operations and various services, and that will make city more functional. Competitiveness, which is very important, and because without competitiveness, growth will be not there. But competitiveness should be there with healthy competitiveness, with complementarity. So complementing each other is very essential. While ensuring, किस चीज का ध्यान रखना, what we should be aware about, that sustainability is there. It meets the needs of present and future generations. That is sustainability. With respect to what? Economic, that means resources. Social means society well-being. Environmental well-being, and cultural well-being. So this is a very comprehensive definition. And actually, when we are looking at smart cities, we should always remember that we are planning for a smart sustainable cities. Thank Vivek, next slide, please. So basically, the smart cities, if you look at the basic goal now, culled from that definition, and also understanding of our government. I'm sorry. It has gone away. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because suddenly my presentation went away actually. So I thought that whether my connection has broken, internet connection. Okay, let it come. No problem. Meanwhile, we'll continue to talk on that. So it has been realized that when you are talking about a smart city, you have to include sustainability of resources and environmental, good quality of environment, because we are talking about good quality of life. Now, having exceeded that, now how this smart city project is being driven in India, I'm sure that my previous speakers have given you some ideas. Actually, I'm depending on my slide to work on that. So there are several missions actually which complement this smart city mission. You have Swachh Bharat mission. So let's come back. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
So we are looking at, based on these definitions and based on the conceptual, you can say, shift in our understanding of need of sustainability for smart cities. Now we are having cities, we are having very specific goals. That's very good actually. Cities that are resilient. Resilient means the city as a whole is able to overcome all the challenges and survive these challenges and convert these challenges into opportunities and flourish. That is the definition. You can say that is what we understand by cities being resilient. Then you have livable. And livable means services should be good, efficient, effective. There should be no problem in accessing opportunities, accessing services, accessing various functions which we require in our day-to-day living in city. And we should have good quality of water. We should have good quality of air. We should have entertainment facilities. We should have parks, gardens, public spaces, very clean, very efficient. We say we should have good wastewater management. We should have good solid waste management. So these all things, we should have good academic institutions, good education, good hospital sector, good health sector, good hospitality. So all this culture, environment, social, and this thing, entertainment and opportunities, they are linked together in making a city livable. And then we are not talking about today. And whatever investment we are making, it is huge in making a city. So we need to look, consider the future generations also. So their sustainable concept of sustainability comes. And if you take care of concept of sustainability, all other actually requirement, resiliency and livability are actually bonded together with sustainability, because you can't assure future generation a better quality of life without being resilient and without taking care of environment and natural resources. So everything is actually boils down to making things sustainable. Next, please, Vivek. If you look at cities, kind of opportunities they provide, and of course, Sakat will be talking in detail about this thing. But I want to emphasize that cities are considered as the engine of growth. With the present paradigm of growth which have it, I also consider is actually unfortunate. That is another this thing point for discussion later in some other opportunity. But with in the modern paradigm of development, modern concept of development, cities are considered as the engine of growth. Cities drive growth of any economy. In our present civilization, the shape we are in, the form we are in, cities are the driver of economy. They are engine of growth. They give development, they give growth. And how it is there visible from the data. Urban areas produce close to 60% of India's GDP, and it is estimated continuously to rise. And by the end of this decade, present decade, we will be having 70% of the GDP countries gross domestic product coming from basically cities, urban areas. And basically, India, if you look at 2018 status, 4,300 statutory towns and cities are there in India. And these are housing around 40 crores of inhabitants. And basically, if you look at 2011 census data also, so that overall, this data says that migration to cities, actually, mega cities have reduced. It is there, but percentage has reduced. And migration to class 2 cities has increased. So you are at a stage where class 2 cities are becoming in future will become class 1 cities. And so much population migration is there towards these cities because they are providing opportunities. And current rate of growth of urbanization, it is expected that by 2030 this urban population will be 60 crores. So around 50% population will be totally urban. So that's a huge, you can say, challenge also and opportunity also. And this is the actually data. This is the reality of our times that has forced actually all the governments across world to make smart, sustainable cities, to make cities smart and sustainable. Next, please, Vivek ji. So now we are having rapid growth of urbanization. We are getting our class 2 cities being converted to class 1 cities and class 1 cities converted to mega cities. Then how to manage this? So, we can manage this if we actually continuously enhance the potential of city in terms of environment, in terms of economical opportunities, in terms of employment opportunity, in terms of sustainability of resources, in terms of clean environment. So basically, to manage urbanization, we have to target on these three basic, you can say, moving engines of this city: livability, economic ability, and sustainability. These three abilities are continuously to be enhanced. Livability, when we talk about transportation. Transportation from door to destination should be smooth. So urban mobility, it's a huge area of opportunity basically for all the engineering faculty, because the present mode of transportation is undergoing revolutionary change with Industry 4.0, with e-vehicles, with airborne personal vehicles. The sky is the limit. And with IoT, 5G, and all this Internet of Things, and machine learning and artificial intelligence, the transportation section, transportation is undergoing transformation. And here lies the opportunities. If you can identify one area where you can provide some input, it can be innovation, it can be startup opportunities for you. And I request all of you to go through Government of India National Policy for Innovation and Startup. And that this national policy clearly talks about faculty generating their idea into business and earning from that business. This opportunity is being given to you. Only thing is, you should be alert enough to, you can say, direct your research towards application, towards solution. If you are, every area is throwing you opportunities nowadays. Then you have affordable housing. That is another challenge. A lot of huge investment is there in building materials which are not environment friendly. Cement is the biggest greenhouse gas generator. So whether you can provide some alternative material and cheap material, then you can convert some industrial waste to some pozzolanic material with some chemistry intervention, understanding of chemistry and all. And you have a startup, you have an innovation at your hand. That's the need of the hour. You provide solution, you have a huge business. You will be unique on within a year. Water and wastewater management, with population growing, with urbanization growing, more water is needed, and more and more wastewater is generated. So that is one area where we need to this thing. Then sanitation and solid waste management, and livability is closely linked with that. Safety, health, and education. Nobody will live in a city where these three are not available. And if safety, security is not assured, if health facilities are not available, if education, good quality education is not available, people migrate to cities to provide better education opportunities to their kids. So when you are talking about livability, it should be under your focus. Economic ability, cities should provide economic opportunities so that investment climate is generated. When investment climate is generated, economic development, economic growth will be there, economic activities will flourish, they will drive the employment opportunity, they will increase the jobs at various skill levels. And then you need also to provide citizens with the skill enhancing opportunity, with the education opportunity. And here again, our technical institutions can play a major role. Abhi kya hai, we are targeting only a particular age group of students. Now we should, I think it's time with our this online experience. We should move, we should focus, of course, on our this thing regular students, but we should also explore the opportunities to provide skill enhancement to people whoever is seeking it, without any you can say barrier, like you should have 60%, you should have 70%, and you can offer you can say hybrid program, online and offline base. And looking to the professional skill requirements in your area, you have actually a earning opportunity in this terms. You are also servicing the community, so your importance in that community will go up, and you also have tremendous earning opportunities through these activities. So we also need to innovate and reinvent ourselves as educational institution, otherwise we will be out of market. Then every city, actually, if the city fails to inculcate culture of innovation, cities won't survive. And what about city? We won't survive as faculty members if we don't inculcate in ourselves thinking about new ideas, thinking about solutions to real life problems. thinking about the opportunity in terms of technology transformation of services and products and manufacturing, we will be out of business very soon, because technology is evolving continuously and it is evolving at very fast rate. So we have to be very alert. And the most important skill set for us as faculty members is learnability. We need ourselves to upgrade if we want to keep pace with our students, keep with the development of technology, keep pace with the development of technology. We have to be continuously on learnability mode. That's very essential. That is the essential skill required in any profession. Then, of course, most important is sustainability. Thinking about future generation, thinking about future growth of city, thinking about sustenance of city. And this will drive actually economy, and this will drive also the livability in a city. So environmental sustainability, wherein everyday decisions on technology, infrastructure, and investment balance both present and future concern of society. So any decision you are taking on above two, it should be driven by sustainability concern for the availability of resources, availability of quality of life to future generation. Next, please, Vivek ji. So challenges, there are many challenges. Basically, urbanization is increasing and it is unstoppable. It is a juggernaut. But there are also challenges, and these challenges we understand. And particularly, you can say that you can classify these challenges in two heads. Basically, one is our traditional challenges. ट्रेडिशनल चैलेंजेस हमको मालूम है कि सैनिटेशन है, सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट है, पोल्यूशन है, ये सारे ट्रेडिशनल चैलेंजेस हैं. बट सम चैलेंजेस आर, you can say, clear and present danger. And you have a famous movie by Clint Eastwood, I think, clear and present danger. So we have climate change. It has already arrived, and people have spent a couple of decades in denying that wholeheartedly with lot of money from corporate sector to deny that climate change is a reality. But now it's knocking our doors, and every day in India, some city is being heavily flooded because of unprecedented rains. We read in newspapers that 30 years rain record was broken yesterday. 100 years rain record was broken in this rainy season, like that. So these are extreme events. So many cyclones across the world. Frequency of cyclones have increased. You go to this thing, search this data, you will find amazing data on this. Fire incidents have increased globally. You can see developed countries like Australia and America are facing problems. So climate change is a huge challenge which our generation has to tackle. Our generation has to provide solution. And climate change actually will be turning things head on if we are not able to provide solution. And according to my understanding, technology solution will have its limitations. It's the lifestyle solution which needs to be looked into, and we have to change ourselves as community, as society, as families, as individual, to understand what nature is asking us, what nature is telling us. So that's a new future and present danger. High energy consumption and GHG is interlinked with climate change. So we need to look into that also. Inequitable growth. We are talking about sustainability of society. No society can sustain itself with kind of inequality in income we are seeing today. We may be very happy. Our corporate leaders, our business leaders, our professionals, they may be very happy that they are bringing in lakhs of crores of rupees, maybe per day, for some per month, maybe someone for per year. But inequality in our society in terms of economic, in terms of social status is increasing, and inequalities inbreeds frustration. Frustration inbreeds violence, and violence can damage any city, any community. So we have to find a solution. We have to reorient ourselves in concept of economics, in concept of development, in concept of quality of life, to address this inequitable growth also. The social sustainability, economic sustainability will not come We are sitting at a tipping point. We are sitting, waiting besides a volcano which is dead on the top, but simmering with activities, with frustration, with discontent. There is a huge eruption is going to happen if we don't address this inequality as a society, as a community, as a family, as a individual. Unsafe and degraded built environments. If you look at Indian cities in terms of environment, you can't say that city is livable. And you just search Google. I am not adding it here because I don't have that much time. But you search Google images for pollution affected lungs, and the visuals which you get, you will have like will alarm you like that, and that is air we are breathing. So that is why the health, actually pollution is taking a toll on our health services, our expenditure on health, and our quality of life, our productivity, our capacity to work, everything. And it has become a big drainer on economy, whether we realize it or not. It is more wise to invest on pollution control, pollution management measures than to save money by not doing these measures. Umpteen studies nowadays are showing this. Umpteen research papers are concluding this, that it is economically a wise decision to spend on pollution control and pollution management, then save money by not spending on it. But I don't know when people will become aware. Then deteriorating public health. See, all these things are linked, and all these are present challenges. These are not future challenges. These challenges have arrived at our doorsteps, and particularly India, you can say the kind of population density we have, and kind of resource challenge we have, and kind of inequality we have unique set of opportunities. See, wherever there are challenges, there are opportunities. So we have unique set of opportunities and challenges, but we require unique strategies. Unfortunately, what has happened, because of our colonial background, our colonial hangover, we have considered everything which is foreign is good. And our development concept also, we have forgotten our traditional culture, traditional wisdom. And immediately when British left, we switched over to Western mode of development, Western concept of development. And if Indian cities need to survive, again, we should not follow the blind model of smart city that is being offered by Europe or developed countries of West. East has its own peculiarities, if its own characteristics, and East has to understand its own characteristics and plan and model its development accordingly. Lot of our problems will not be there if we just switch over to Eastern mode of development, where we have this whole traditional wisdom available with us. And rightly, Mr. D.S. Mishra, our secretary, who is spearheading this, our Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry, he has rightly said India's unique set of opportunities and challenges need unique strategies. So our government is very cautious. It is very actually heartening to know that our government is cautious about this reality, and whole smart city paradigm has to guided by these realities. Next, please, Vivek. So, like I was talking to you, that smart city mission is being driven by some key programs of Government of India, and these are interlinked. So, and why I'm sharing with you, because these programs basically, most of the time I see faculty members as passive to various government policies, various government agencies. We are not aware of it. And I don't know in what way you are contributing to your city's development, because there is an opportunity for providing consultancy, for providing your research outputs to these missions, and they are requiring actually professionals. But what is happening is private sector, this is taking advantage of that, and our technical faculty is actually busy with only taking classes and doing laboratory based research. We are not moving out to community. And all these missions actually required expert technical guidance, expert technical advice. And actually, one component of smart city mission must be that they should link with local institutions, and they should pose their problems, pose their challenges to local institutions, so that local institutions should be first line of, you can say, offense or defense to provide solution to these problems, these challenges, because no one else will understand local problems than the local institutions, and they are there to stay. They are there to take care of a project through its entire lifetime. So that's the win-win situation. But unfortunately, that type of, you can say, interventions, I am not seeing neither from smart city administrators nor from local institutions also. We very passively are sitting and watching things while things are going out of hand. We have to take leadership role. We have to take active role. And we have to take upon ourselves to approach these authorities, approach these programs, approach these missions to find out their challenges, their problems, and with our technical acumen, our knowledge, our skill, with kind of infrastructure and resources available with us in terms of laboratory and our students, we should come up with solutions. And these solutions will be economical, will be sustainable, because we know the local problems. So the idea behind showing this is that to make you aware that there is tremendous opportunity for you to be active in these missions and these programs. So you have a smart city mission, of course, which is driving future development of smart cities. Then you have Swachh Bharat mission, urban. You have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana for urban population. You have Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana to uplift the life of downtrodden. So you have a skill opportunity, skill enhancement opportunity. You can have IoT opportunity delivered so that their education and skill development online, on mobile, and there can be tremendous variety of solutions. Then you have Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, Amrut. Without technology, without innovation, and without conversion to Industry 4.0 technology, it will not be successful. Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana, and urban transport with focus on metro rail systems. So all these missions, all these key programs where government of India is inputting thousands of crores of rupees, and our faculty members, our institutions are not beneficiary. Exceptions are there. Exceptions are there. It's not that it's a blanket thing, but majority institutions, majority faculty members are not having any say in this, are not capturing on these opportunities. So I want you to find out your local activities, meet the administrators, meet the management team, and they will be very happy actually to get help from you, because you will be available to them 24/7, and not during the implementation of project, but throughout the lifetime of project, to guide them, to solve them various problems, various issues which come up. If you look at kind of scale of resources involved in these missions in smart city alone, the smart city mission, 5,100 projects have been implemented, and kind of money, if I am reading this correctly, it's 2,05,000 crores. So I was talking about thousands of crores, lakhs of crores have been invested, and quality of life of 100 million citizens have been affected or impacted in a better way, you can say, improvement. Okay, next please, Vijayji. So core principles of the smart city mission, and we have already discussed, citizens at the core, more from less, and because sustainability is involved, so efficiency and effectiveness is needed. Cooperative and competitive federalism, and this is talking about decentralization basically. Convergence, various technologies are there, various things are there. If we can converge them, pool them, then they can be more economically efficient. So financial resources and programs, convergence should be looked into it. Technology as a means, not the goal, and that's obvious. Okay, and inclusiveness, and this diversity or in economy, in financial strength of society, community, inequality should be avoided, and all the programs, all the missions should target inclusiveness. Everybody should be included. Local population should be taken in confidence. They should be continuously interacted with to understand their problems, their issues, what solutions they want. Next, please, Vijayji. So how we can ensure as engineers, as technical faculty members, how we can work towards smart sustainable cities. And so what we have covered mostly, what is a smart sustainable city, why also we have covered. Now let's move to how and for a environmentally smart and sustainable city. Next please, Vijay. So there are challenges, and these challenges are opportunities for us. And they are challenges towards environment, towards sustainability. And as a technical expert, there is opportunity that we provide solution to these challenges. So you see, all cities are struggling with environmental degradation. All cities are suffering with traffic congestion. All cities are suffering with lack of urban infrastructure. You can't name a city where 24/7 water supply is available to the entire community. It is available only in small pockets. Uh, you have lack of basic services and water supply, sanitation, waste management. So it's no, you can say no secret. All our cities are suffering from these major challenges. And these major challenges are actually hampering the growth of our cities. So environmental footprints, if you we talk about water footprint, we talk about carbon footprint, and we talk about energy footprint, various footprint are there. And there are various sites which give you model to measure those footprints. So environmental footprints, overall environmental footprints of cities are quite alarming. And they have reached a scale, a size where they threaten the natural resources required. And that will affect sustainability to sustain the economic development and poverty alleviation rates. And if you don't alleviate poverty, you are in for to be drenched in volcanic lava of hate, anger, violence. So we need to address that. That is the immediate and urgent need of all the cities in India, and that needs to be addressed. So you need to find out why it has not been done today. What is the problem? Because in our classes, we talk about various technologies, we talk about various management strategies to address these problems. But why after, you can say, so many years after independence, we are not able to achieve this? What is stopping us? And as a technical expert, how we can overcome that? What type of solution we provide so that it overcomes these challenges because of which the things have not been implemented. Maintaining economic growth while creating sustainable livable cities for all is the biggest urban challenge today. This is the crux. What is the biggest urban challenge? Maintaining economic growth while ensuring sustainability and livability of cities. That is the biggest challenge. And here in comes our biggest opportunity also. Next, please, Vijay. So again, some challenges are listed in this box, and particularly United Nations is working very closely in United Nations Environmental Program. And they are promoting sustainable consumption and production practices to address inefficient resource use patterns. So a lot of problems is because whatever production practices are there and whatever consumption practices are there. Consumption practices means we are talking about lifestyle changes. We have become a consumerist society. All our social, you can say, ethos are driven to consume more and more. And you can already see that every year there is a 0 day, you can say, Earth 0 day, where on that day it seems it is there. That day is pointed out to educate us that on this day Earth has exhausted its natural resources for our need for the year. And every year this day is being gradually coming early and early. And now we are sitting, this day we have already passed this day. And carrying capacity day, you can say, for a year. So it is now coming in July. So we have to address that, and the global community is conscious about that. And cities are the centerpiece at the level, at the core, and where these issues are to be addressed. 80% urban, India it is hardly 50%, 60%, or globally it is 80%. So in long term, cities will actually define and direct the global productivity and overall stability of various countries and various cities. Inefficiency, like inefficiency in water, inefficiency in energy and transport, they have huge financial impact. The financial requirement, the economical sources requirement actually goes up. So these challenges we have already discussed. So we can move to the next slide, and particularly climate change is this thing. So basically, if you look at the objectives behind smart city mission or smart city projects, we now I think we can conclude that sustainability of resources is the paramount objective. And if you ensure sustainability of resources, then you can ensure economic continuance of economic opportunities, and continuance of economic opportunity will ensure employment opportunity, and sustainability will also ensure clean environment, so livability will also be there. So we need to focus on resources basically, and if we talk about natural resources which will make a city sustainable, then water is a natural resource which is required for our food, for most of our production, for our life. Then air, and again, is required for us to survive. Land is a major resource. Materials which we ultimately extract from land are major resource. And if you talk about their correlating environmental spheres, so then we study them at hydrosphere, atmosphere, and lithosphere. And all these actually, all these three spheres actually provide us sources of energy from sources for materials, and using energy, material, water, and air, basically we convert, we manufacture products, we deliver services, and so energy will come from that, material will come from that, products and services will come from that, infrastructure will be created by that. And who is doing all this? Human agency is doing all this. So if you take it all together, it is known as biosphere. You take hydrosphere, you take atmosphere, you take lithosphere, and until these three combine, there is no comprehensive, we can say, ecological sustainability of life, which we are seeing as human beings. And we consider ourselves at the top of the pyramid of human species growth, and that to some extent is true also. So it all comes under environment, and this environment is facing challenges. And we talk about sustainability, assurance of sustainability, we need to address these challenges which our environment is facing. Next, please. So what are the environmental concerns which our cities are facing? Next, please. Current environmental scenarios, very poor quality of air. It is, no measurement is needed. You just go out in the morning in your balcony or in your porch, and you inhale a lung full of air. You won't feel that you are inhaling a clean air, some clean air. So air is polluted and severely polluted. It is already affecting our health and draining lot of resources from our national economy. Availability of water. When I am talking about availability of water, there are challenges in both quantity, availability in terms of quantity, and availability in terms of quality also. State of sanitation, if you rate majority of Indian cities, it is poor. Though substantial gain has been made with Swachh Bharat mission, urban and rural both, but still we know that lot of this is to be achieved. There are some cities which have taken care of themselves under these missions, and particularly if you look at example of Indore or other cities, they have made good progress, but other cities still they need to follow up. Then, of course, status of collection, treatment, and disposal of wastewater. Again, in very poor shape. We'll discuss it later on. Solid waste management. Again, it's improving, but a lot needs to be done. Next, please. So, if you look at water, without water, actually, human species can't survive. And if human species can't survive, any model of civilization, be it city-centric, be it village-centric, won't be able to survive. and over we have read time and again that all these civilizations developed around water, and civilization died out because of water scarcity. And one theory which strongly support this hypothesis that Indus Valley civilization, which is one of the oldest civilization and very advanced civilization known to man, actually perished because of water resources were not available because of climate change, drastic climate change at that time, or shifting of river, meandering of river from Indus Valley to other area. So we have historically known this fact that Saraswati river disappeared, and it went underground. People say that it's still flowing as underground connecting reservoirs, but on surface it was not there. So whole civilization wiped out. And we marvel when we look at the archaeological findings of Harappan, this thing, and Indus Valley civilization. We marvel kind of urbanization they had, but these cities vanished. So, and NITI Aayog report came out in 2018. All the actually people who are concerned with this urban amenities, water, wastewater, and solid waste. I request you to read this NITI Aayog report. Its PDF is available on NITI Aayog website. 2000 report actually very comprehensively concludes India is suffering from its worst water crisis in its history. And this water crisis is going to deepen because of continuous growth in population and our lack of management of water. Water quantity is available, but scarcity is there because it is not managed properly, and therein lies opportunity. Next, please. So this is a report from World Resource Institute. Recently, they have published this report that 54% of India faces high to extremely high water stress, and you see the red mark area that is high. Darker the color, higher the water scarcity. And this is NITI Aayog observation. Water supply is expected to fall 50% below demand by 2030. And NITI Aayog did a detailed study, and they say that water we require and water that will be available, there will be a difference of 50%. Half the water need will only be available to us if we are not careful about how to manage our water. And problem is that we constitute 18% of the world population, but only 4% of global freshwater resources. So there lies the challenge, and there lies the opportunity for water management through technical intervention, managerial and technical intervention. Next, please. So again, another this thing from Water Resource Institute only. It is when population was 1.2 billion, couple of years back. 54% of country faces high to extreme high water stress. Then national supply predicted to 550% below the need. More than 100 million people live in areas with poor water quality. Water level in more than half of 4,000 groundwater wells decreasing. So NITI Aayog 2000 report again, they said that 60 crore people, or you can say half the India population, face extreme water stress. It's not ordinary water stress. It is extreme. It is a challenge for them to get water for their daily needs. So you can see kind of challenges we are looking at. Cities consume more resources than rural areas because of their density, because of their lifestyle, because of industrialization and all. NITI Aayog estimates that 21 major cities, including Delhi, would run out of groundwater by 2030. I was reading a month back in newspaper that Chennai has depleted all its groundwater this year. I don't know because sometimes newspaper create sensation to sensationalize their news. They may put a wrong headline, but that was the headline. If some Chennai friends are there, or they can verify it from local population. But that headline bluntly said that Chennai has depleted all its groundwater. And 21 major cities, we are looking at the rate at which groundwater is falling actually. Now, 21 of our major cities. So kind of impact it will have on economy, kind of impact it will have on sustainability of resources. There won't be any groundwater left for our generation. What to talk about future generation? So, see, these are alarming situations. And we can't wait for things to reach to that bad level. Before that, we have to interfere as a technical experts, as a educators. We need to educate people. We need to educate our children, our students, and we also need to provide technical solutions also. And these technical solutions will be integrated across all engineering disciplines. Nowadays, solutions can't come only from civil engineering or chemical engineering or mechanical engineering. Solution has to be integrated in terms of IoT and electronics and communication engineering also. So everyone is having opportunity, and you can make a team and capture on this opportunity. Next, please, Vijay. So this is this thing. Our Union Minister of State for Water Resources, actually, he told in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, respectively, about the water situation and surface water and ground situation, both being deteriorating and becoming challenging at a very faster rate. Next, please. So this was about quantity of water. Now let us look at the quality of water. So these are patches which are showing, you can say, quality problems in water in India. And what is happening actually, water quality is not improving. I am afraid to say it is deteriorating day by day. And why it is deteriorating, we'll look into the next slide. So, but मेजॉरिटी ऑफ पॉपुलेशन ऑफ इंडिया 10 करोड़ लोग जो हैं उनका तो पानी इतना खराब है कि विदाउट कंप्रेहेंसिव ट्रीटमेंट टारगेटिंग टू हेवी मेटल्स, we have rampant presence of heavy metals, rampant presence of pesticides, arsenic is widespread, fluoride is widespread in our country, iron is widespread in our groundwater and all, and surface water is being quality is being compromised because of our poor management of liquid and solid waste. Next, please. Groundwater wells are decreasing, and problem is that our mode of development, particularly typical to India, we are heavily dependent on groundwater, particularly irrigation, particularly household use, industrial use. The first choice of source is groundwater. We don't make efforts to conserve, retain our surface water and use that surface water. We actually go straightway for groundwater. And we actually are the largest extractor of groundwater as a country in the world. And 25% global groundwater is taken up by India. Not a very good data. And 256 of 700 districts have reported critical or overexploited groundwater. Just yesterday, Central Groundwater Board has come up with the public notification that now for any bore well digging in any area, whether you are individual or industry or society or municipal corporation, you need to take permission for putting in a bore well. The situation has become so bad. Next, please. So 30 Indian cities, latest report from Worldwide Fund for Nature, they have investigated, studied the problem, and they say that 30 cities will face a grave water crisis. No water will be available by 2050. And why the problem is there? Like I said, we have sufficient water. We get more rains than most of the other countries in the world. We are a tropical monsoon country. We get a lot of water, but we have poor management of water sources. We have contaminated source of supplies. Why? Again, because of our poor management of waste. We have leaky distribution network, poor work quality, poor skills, corruption, vast volumes of untreated wastewater being poured into India's rivers. That is the burning problem. And that takes us to wastewater management. Next, please. So, again, this is from actually this slide I took from one website. Freshwater sources fulfill 85% of India's water demand, and it remains the world's largest consumer of groundwater, consuming 124% more groundwater than China or the USA. Means See, China is the most populated country in the world, and China is actually using less groundwater than us. Then obviously there is something wrong with our water management. And this is some data which we have discussed, and that what are the 30 cities that are at the risk. So you can see name of 30 cities right from Jaipur, Indore, Thane, Vadodara, Srinagar, Rajkot, Kota, Nashik, Visakhapatnam, Bengaluru, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Jabalpur, Mumbai, Lucknow, Hubli, Dharwad, Nagpur, Chandigarh, Amritsar, Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Pune, Dhanbad, Bhopal, Gwalior, Surat, Delhi, Aligarh, Kozhikode, Kannur. So these are 30 cities which will be having severe water shortage. Okay, next please. So see, there is a huge gap between water demand and supply. Demand is increasing cumulative aggregate growth rate of 2.8%. And by 2030, and this is Water Resource Group data, projection for 2030 status in India, 50% supply gap will be there. So we are looking at a crisis. Okay. And we have to act immediately. There is not much time. Already we are in 21, and we have to address this problem in coming 3-4 years. Beyond that, it will be too late. Thank you. Next, please. Water scarcity. Why water is scarce? Water is scarce. Why this problem is there? The reasons are there. First thing is that we have poor water management. We have poor water waste management. We have not paid attention to development of our cities, our community, and we have not gone for sustainable development from the start. That's why all these problems are there. Problems of quality as well as problems of quantity also. Next, please. See, every city is bringing water from far and far and incurring huge input cost in getting that water to consumer doorstep. Ahmedabad gets its water 150 kilometer away. Source is 150 kilometer away, some dam. From there, they are transporting this water. You can understand kind of investment, capital, as well as operational and maintenance, recurring expenses, taking its toll, making water supply economically inefficient, non-sustainable. Same story with other cities, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Mumbai. You have as long as 400 kilometers. Is it viable? Is this sustainable? No. Next, please. So you need to understand the problems and challenges. Now, let's move to wastewater, because quality of water is being affected by poor handling of waste. So what is the status of wastewater management? So if you ask you in your city, if you look into the practices for sewage or wastewater management or domestic wastewater management, so you see basically that hardly part of the city is covered with the collection system and with treatment system. And mostly what is happening, this treated wastewater is mixed with untreated wastewater and it is disposed in the nearest water body. That is typically happening with Indian cities. We have few Indian cities under sewerage network. Most of the cities are without sewerage network. So what is the mode of management there? So mostly the household wastewater is brought into septic tank located in the house, and from septic tank settling will be there, and after settling the effluent will be passed on to mostly in the surface drains which are coming out of the individual houses and joining the street drain, which is again a surface drain. And this street drains will then collect to the you can say community drain and large drain, and this drain will ultimately join other big drains and take the water out of city, and this water will ultimately find its way to lowest contour, which is usually a water body, a lake or pond or a river. This is happening with wastewater management in majority of our cities. And this is actually latest data. The Central Pollution Control Board submitted a report to National Green Tribunal in March 2020. And in that report, actually, they mentioned that India is generating approximately 62,000 million liters per day.
There are 920 sewage treatment plants operated primarily by municipal corporations with a treatment capacity close to 23,000 MLD. So you can see that more than half of that wastewater is going untreated. 37% of total wastewater generated is being treated. Okay, so what is happening with 63%? 63% is getting mixed with this untreated water, with this treated wastewater, and getting to our rivers and surface water bodies, making quality of surface water sources perilous, and ultimately it is migrating to groundwater, and again making quality of groundwater poor. Only 33% of India's urban wastewater is actually treated, and an even smaller portion is reused. These figures are low when viewed against those of comparable countries. For instance, BRICS nation Brazil and South Africa treat 45 to 55% of their wastewater. Next, please. So basically, see, now there is a time. The time has come rather to make this paradigm shift of our understanding of waste. Nothing is waste. Everything is a resource. And I told you earlier also that actually when I was in IIT Kanpur, Dr. Vinod Tare actually gave me this definition when he was teaching us in class. He write this thing on board and it like ingrained into my brain. Waste is resource out of place. A beautiful definition. A chalk in the hands of a teacher in front of blackboard is a resource. A chalk thrown to the floor is waste. So our generation has this responsibility of changing this mindset about waste. We need to bring in a fresh mindset, a new mindset that waste is resource out of place. We need to put it at a proper place with little bit of processing, little bit of transformation, and it will be converted to resource. And until unless we do that, the sustainability has big question mark. And if sustainability is not there, economical opportunity will die because there will be lack of resources. So we need to change the paradigm of waste and a concept of waste. We need to look at opportunities, look at technical intervention, look at innovations which can transform all the waste into some sort of resource, replacing natural resource, so that national resources are preserved for future generations. Sustainability is assured in this manner. Without this, there is no sustainability. CPCB estimates, 2051, you will be having 120,000 MLD, 120 million liter per day. Moreover, approximately 30,500 million liter per day of industrial wastewater is generated. Previous slide, I talked only about domestic wastewater. Additionally, 13,500 million liter per day of industrial wastewater. 60% of this is treated through 123 common effluent treatment plants. Again, what is happening with rest 40%? See, legislation asks industries to be zero discharge. Industries, they should treat and reuse that wastewater, whatever is being generated within their own premises. They are not allowed to discharge into outside environment. So all these challenges have been recognized by Government of India, and there is lot of emphasis you can see on solid waste, sludge and grey water management under Swachh Bharat Mission 2, the second phase of the central government countrywide campaign. So now government is targeting these wastes for conversion of resources. So lot of emphasis on segregation of solid waste, lot of emphasis on treatment of septic tank sludge, and converting it into methane as biogas, and remaining treated solids as fertilizer, manure. Next, please. So now under these missions, this changing understanding about waste and urgency of management of these waste efficiently and effectively, we have come up with ODF plus, open defecation free, open defecation free plus plus, and water plus status. है ना? And as per this definitions, all the cities in future must fulfill these criteria to move to water plus state. What are these criteria? First thing is that 100% of domestic, industrial, and commercial wastewater must be treated. There should be adequate capacity to treat wastewater and sewage. Infrastructure should be properly maintained, and cost recovery should be ensured through the reuse and recycling of treated wastewater. So, and not only treatment, this should become a resource. You should reuse it, recycle it for other uses. Next, please. So this is again showing the step by step. We can because we have already discussed the conclusion. So I took the data from this page of Central Pollution Control Board only. Next, please. So defining challenge is safe, reliable water to urban population. That is the defining challenge of 21st century. Why this situation is there? I just want you to comprehend that why this our present mode of water management and wastewater management is unsustainable. What is there? William Ruckelshaw was actually president of US Environmental Protection Agency, and he gave this famous quote, "We all live downstream." And this quote is in terms of discharge of effluents and and making use of some that water downstream. So this a river is flowing and a city is there. So city is taking raw water from river for its industrial uses, agricultural uses, community uses and all, and discharging wastewater. Then there is another city on the downstream. This diagram. You are taking raw water, you are using it and discharging. Other city downstream taking that same raw water, discharging it after use. And this is continuing. Now earlier it was okay because earlier the concept of treatment was dilution is solution to pollution. That was again a famous quote. If you dilute your waste into a sufficient quantity of water or soil or air, it will solve the pollution problem. But as urbanization grew, as industrialization progressed, as material consumption progressed, as cities grew in size, the both concentration and total volume and characteristics of these wastes became problematic. So what we are doing, we have installed treatment plant because our raw water quality doesn't meet our requirement. So we have water treatment plant. So we are investing money first thing because we are bringing water from 100 to 400 kilometers. So we are investing a lot of money in creating huge infrastructure in terms of dams, reservoirs. Then continuous electrical power is required to supply that water through that distance of 100 kilometer or 400 kilometer. Then you are bringing that water which is not fit for direct consumption. You are again investing money to treat this water. Now you are consuming that water and changing its characteristics so that it can't be used for the same purpose. So it becomes waste. So you have wastewater. Again, since this wastewater is again increased in substantially in volume also, in characteristic also, pollution potential also. So you are forced to treat, you can't dispose of. Again, you are investing money and to collect this wastewater from households and then to treat this wastewater and then to discharge this wastewater. But again, because of sheer increase in size of population, our lifestyle, our consumption, the river water quality for the next city, for the next city, for the next city will continuously deteriorate. And this deteriorating river water quality again require more investment in raw water treatment and more investment in wastewater treatment. So you can very well conclude that what we are doing is unsustainable. It can't sustain economically also. It can't sustain resource wise also. Next, please. So we have to come up new solutions. So there are opportunities. What is happening with Ganga? Ganga ko we call her mother. So from Gomukh, Gangotri, Gomukh it starts, and there are cities, and it moves along. And by the time it come to Bithur, even at Haridwar also nowadays, its water becomes polluted. And by the time it reaches Kanpur, it is heavily polluted. It is no better than a dirty drain. And then other cities, and now Ganga water is a huge problem. We have Mission Ganga, and plans and all, and thousands of crores of money have been spent without much success. Next, please. So basically, you have sources, natural sources. You talk about, let us take example of water. So you take that water from that natural resource, which is already contaminated. You invest money in treating that water. Then you use that water and again make it wastewater. Again, you invest money in treating it wastewater so that you follow the guidelines. And then again, this wastewater is going to your natural resource to contaminate it. So this cycle is vicious cycle. It is unsustainable cycle. You have to make interventions to break this cycle, to make this cycle, you can say, sustainable, environment friendly, economics friendly. Next, please. So we all know about this natural hydrologic cycle, and water is there, then it is evaporated, then it is condensed in the form of water vapor, then it falls down in the form of rainfall, then this rainfall, after having detention in surface depression and all, comes out in the terms of surface runoff. Then some rainfall percolates, infiltrates and percolates to subsurface water, and this subsurface water feeds our rivers in dry weather, and in terms of dry weather flow in dry weather. Okay. So this is natural hydrologic cycle. Next, please. This is urban hydrologic cycle. Same thing which I was explaining to you. So we have actually moved far away from natural water cycle because of various interventions, because of our concept of development, our concept of consumerism, and our concept of water and wastewater management. Next, please. See what we are doing with urbanization. Natural landscape is there. Natural landscape, there are different, this 100% precipitation will result in only 10% runoff in natural landscape, because there is a lot of opportunity for rainwater to be retained by vegetation, and this will help in infiltration of rainwater to subsurface. Then it will further percolate to ground surface. Groundwater is recharging the groundwater. That is what is happening in natural landscape. In urban landscape, you have concretized everything. We have lot of fascination towards this concretized cleanliness, and we are concretizing everything, drain to drain coverage, without bothering whether our water will go. And what is happening? You have surface runoff in natural landscape is 10%. In this bottom diagram, urban landscape, it increases to 55%. Infiltration, in earlier case, it was 50%, it reduces to 15%. Result, groundwater depletion. Rivers are dry because subsurface during non-monsoon, this thing during dry weather is not reaching river because there is not sufficient infiltration. तो आप अपनी मौत का सामान खुद सजा रहे हैं, है ना? We are looking at severe resource compromise, severe resource crunch. पहले क्या होता था बचपन में, in my childhood, I used to read newspaper. There people fight over water, and it started during my childhood only. And we have this famous gully wars between ladies who come to get water from municipal tap, community tap. Now I see in newspaper that one person died because of quarrel on water, this thing. So people are dying. Already we are looking at a law and order situation because of resource crunch. So see what I am talking about: development mindset, city growth mindset. We concretized everything, surfaced everything, without making provisions for water, rainwater to go infiltrate and percolate, replenish our groundwater. And what we are doing? We are extracting groundwater because groundwater is of better quality. And so we are extracting more and more water. Every household is having a tube well. So you are extracting at a very faster rate at which the water can reach the groundwater reservoir from surface. what will happen? Depletion will be there. There is another problem. Apart from quality, there is another problem of quality. So the more you extract, leaching from surrounding geological strata will take place of different salts and minerals. And this leaching will introduce iron, arsenic, fluoride, whatever the surrounding soil and surrounding rocks are bearing. Leach at Lear's principle equation will move in that direction from where you are extracting things. You are extracting from groundwater, surface rocks will start giving more and more constituents into groundwater. All groundwater sources are going to get contaminated in future. Those who are of good quality today will contaminate because of this practice. Next, please. So what is the solution? Solution is we need to decentralize. We are obsessed with centralization of things. We need to decentralize. We need to address management of waste at the generation source. At the source of generation, individual household has to manage its own waste. Community has to manage, small communities have to manage their own waste. Then only the solution will come. Solution will come from decentralization. Next, please. I am running out of time. So will typical issue क्या है ये हमने समझ लिया कि we are having septic tanks, we are having open defecation, we are having open solid waste dumps, and because of this we are having industry bad practices, and it is all affecting our water source. And this is the typical issue which we have understood. Now what is the solution? Next, please. More integrated approach, decentralized approach, and we need to close the urban water cycle. First, we need to understand various stages of urban water cycle and where the intervention is needed, and then we need to close this urban water cycle to make our systems resilient, economical, environment friendly, sustainable. Next, please. We should move to integrated urban water management. We have to look water as totality, in totality. Water and wastewater and solid waste and air all are linked together. Everything is in continuous movement. Everything is in dynamism. अभी क्या करते हैं आप वाटर ट्रीटमेंट का प्लांट लगा दो, इधर पे एसटीपी लगा दो, इससे काम नहीं चलेगा. आपको लोकल कम्युनिटी, लोकल सिटी, सॉरी, you have to think on the basis of local community, local city, and what are the challenges, and find local solutions and decentralized solutions looking to the complete water cycle. Total water cycle management is needed. Water sensitive urban design is required. Abhi urban design, there is no concern for water sensitivity. There is no concern for resource conservation. I'm sure Saket will be talking about that. Then sustainable urban water management, we have to evolve ourselves. This is the need to adopt decentralized infrastructure solutions. Next, please. So, इसको आगे करके मैं आगे एक स्लाइड उसमें बता दूंगा. Next, please. Okay. So basically, if you look at water in totality, I'll conclude it quickly. Give me say 5 minutes more. If you look at in water in totality, we start with storm water management. So every drop of surface runoff should be stored within city premises, and it should be treated by natural means. We have several natural traditional methods of treatment of water. Our communities were having better quality of water than us, better quantity of water than us. We should adopt from them. The knowledge is there, the technology is there. Only thing is we have to compromise on our obsession with machinery and centralization and electrical power. So there are natural systems which can be used, and you need to generate more and more water holding structures. So you need to create new water holding structures. You need to rejuvenate old water harvesting structures which are in bad shape. And once you create that, it will take care of global warming problems also. Now every city is flooded immediately. If you create water retention structure, in lack of rainfall, dry period, they will provide water, precious water. In excessive rainfall, they will store this additional water. So they will avoid getting cities flooded. So that is one way. Stormwater management, no city is making lot of efforts in this direction. We need to first thing is start decentralized stormwater management. We have to prevent stormwater from going out of the community area, store it, treat it, and then reuse it, recycle it to meet demand of various needs. Next, please. Yeah, this is how we can create natural systems of stormwater management. And we have these constructed wetlands, old wetlands where have plant, soil, and different grades of plants, grass, shrubs, small trees, big trees, then soil, and then there was an integrated system. We need to go for that integrated system. It will not only improve our landscape, but also give us good quality of water. Next, please. So once we have taken care of stormwater, we have to take care of our wastewater. Again, why we have not been able to collect and treat our 100% of wastewater? Because we were copying from Western countries. We were into centralized mode of wastewater management. We need to go for decentralized modes of wastewater management. We need to try to handle wastewater at individual level, at community level, and forget about handling the wastewater at city level. It won't work. It will become uneconomical. We can't invest that much money. So smart solutions, eco-friendly solutions, low-cost solutions, low power intensive solutions within the community, within household, we need to provide. And technology is available, expertise are available. Only thing is we need to have this paradigm shift in thinking. Our thinking should be conversion of waste in resource at source. Conversion of waste in resource at source. That should be our thinking. That should be our management plan. Next, please. Then after wastewater treatment, then once we treat water to some extent, we can use it at various application. अभी क्या हो रहा है? अभी आपका 100% water, 100% of water which is being supplied to domestic consumer is drinking water quality water. We don't need that. That is wastage of money. That is wastage of resources. So you need to understand that and segregate your pipelines based on different water requirements. And all these water requirements, if you are careful, you can meet it at the household level. There are technology available. Monica, you are audible. Kindly just mute yourself. Thank you. So next, please. So next is rainwater harvesting. And it is now open this thing that you need to harvest rainwater, but our you can say community awareness, our individual awareness, our sense of citizenship is so poor that we are not handling it. And if you don't handle it, you will end up with poor quality of water and you will end up with no water at all. So at individual level, at family level, at community level, we have to think about rainwater harvesting. Catch every rain, every drop where it falls. At source itself. वहां से चला गया, उसके बाद it becomes very costly for all waste management. If you want waste management to be economical, to be sustainable, the mool mantra is to manage at source, manage at source, manage at source. Next, please. So I'm at the end of actually basically my slide. I'm sorry that a little bit of more time I this. See, we need to understand wastewater. There is black water, there is gray water. Black water, which is with fecal material, which is more objectionable. Gray water, if you can segregate, treatment becomes less with gray water. With gray water has huge volume. You can treat it and you can really easily use it. Black water, less volume, it can be treated as household level. You don't have to transport it to long distances, incurring money in terms of power expenditure and all. So solutions are there. Only thing is that approach has to be different. Next, please. So earlier system was to address the peak demand. That is not required. Earlier system was centralized management. That is not required. That is actually wrong for our country, our community. We need to go for eco-friendly, low-cost, decentralized solutions which target the source. If not possible at the individual family level, then at least at small community level. Thank you. Agati. Okay. I think examples. There are catch all the rooftop rainwater, small bore sewers, constructed wetlands, ponds and lakes. They are your treatment units. They provide you water. So basically, this if you look at it, a whole water cycle, identify rainwater, Rainwater is best quality water which you are getting. Try to collect every drop, store it and use it. It will partially offset your water demand. So you don't have to bring all the water from 400 kilometer, making big dams, and then spending so much money, which is uneconomical, non-sustainable. It is idiotic. Stormwater again create more ponds, more lakes, more detention structures at individual level, as community level, at city level, and try to collect as close to source as possible. It will result in less pollution, less cost of treatment, and then again you can offset all your irrigation requirement, all your gardening requirement, all your washing requirements, etc. by this collected and treated stormwater. Then wastewater, segregate wastewater in grey water and black water, treat black water at individual or community level, take grey water through drains and treat it, and again offset your requirements. So you actually, if you do it carefully, I think 90% of your water requirements will be met locally with better quantity and better quality. So this is the solution, and this solution I call closing the urban water cycle. Next, please. So we have to look at water as resource, all the waste as resource. Next, please. So if 80% of untreated wastewater is used, then 110 of the most populous cities, 75% of projected industrial water demand can be met by 2025. 4 साल में. If we start using 80% of our untreated wastewater, and there is huge potential, huge opportunity. Sludge, you can irrigate because sludge contains 2-3% solid, 97-98% is moisture. You can directly give to agriculture farmers. It will have lot of nutrients, and with better agriculture farm practices, it can be used. So win-win situation is there. Next, please. So we have to consider waste as resource, and this is how we close the urban water cycle by catching water in whatever way it is emerging from different users, different sources, storing it, treating it, and at source level and at community level, again reusing it, recycling it. You are closing the cycle, the same cycle. You will have some evaporation losses. You will have some transpiration losses. These losses can be met by little bit of water from outside sources. Otherwise, you will make do with by closing the urban water cycle. So that's my, you can say, idea about how you can assure sustainable smart cities. Next, please. So win-win situation. Next, please. So, and it is also considered and supported by United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Goal number 11, make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So United Nations also is supporting through Sustainable Development Goals for our community, for our civilization. Next, please. So basically, we want, according to UN goal and UN action plan, we need to make our cities resource efficient. We need to have clean cities, and we need to have green and healthy cities. Then only their sustainability will be assured. Next, please. So together, we have to come to solve this problem. Looking to the scale of problem, we have to come together. Private sector, government sector, NGOs, institutions, faculty members, students, society, all have to come together. Then we will definitely win. Next, please. So if we are careful towards ensuring sustainability, then the landscape become beautiful. Our quality of life will improve. Sustainability for future generation will be assured. Next, please. Thanks. Now, if there is time for questions, I can take questions as Vijay or Indrani will tell me. Otherwise,
Yes,
it's
yes, sir, there
okay
is
from
one
my
question.
side. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. That was the informative session. And there is a question from the participant that how about the present status of Clean Ganga initiative, and how clean is our Ganga today than it was some 6 years back?
It's you can say you can search the government sites only and find out data is available about past status and present status. Several people are working on Clean Ganga mission and they are generating data and comparative tables are available. Not much has changed. Couple of months back, you have severe eutrophication in major bathing ghats of Ganga at Banaras. Why? We know that whenever severe eutrophication is coming, it means lot of nitrogen is there, lot of phosphorus is there, and the source of nitrogen and phosphorus basically from domestic wastewater and surface runoff. So why it is not working out actually? It is not working out. It has not produced the desired results. Problem are multifolds. One thing is that flow in Ganga, and there is a minimum flow which is required in a river to sustain ecology of the river. That is known as environmental flow. We have dammed all our major rivers, major, minor, every river. We have dammed it to them to such an extent for our hunger for water that environmental flow in majority stretch of the rivers is not available, including Ganga. And people have lost their lives actually protesting on this, that all the hydropower projects proposed on Ganga should be immediately stopped. And in my knowledge, 2 saints actually died fast unto death on this demand. And one was very, you can say, renowned environmental engineering expert, Professor G.D. Agrawal. But we are not changing, unfortunately. And we don't change, we are looking at, you can say, perilous situation where whole our survival will be actually at risk. So we need to change our thinking. We need to decentralize. We need to go for a small source-based approach. Then only it will be possible. Otherwise, resource requirement for doing all this in trillion of dollars. We won't afford it. We can't afford it. Whatever, either we have to sell our country to these foreigners, again East India Company will come and will become this thing, or we have to find our own solutions, decentralize, be responsible as individual, be responsible to take care of waste our individual households, then only we will be able to survive. Otherwise तो आपका सारी चीजें तो रिमोट में है आपके, है ना, आप ऑनलाइन हो, your control is at corporates hands. So situation has not improved much, Ganga, with respect to river Ganga or any other river in India.
Thank you, sir. So I guess I don't see any other question in WhatsApp group, or nobody has raised their hand. So
well, I have one request actually.
Yes, sir.
Because of hurry in compiling this presentation, I have not mentioned sources.
yes,
So
sir.
kindly don't distribute it widely. This is request with participants actually. Use it for your personal use. Otherwise, I may be in for several copyright violations. Hai na? So, and Agrawal sahab, get it converted into PDF.
Yeah.
And just write a line that this is only for academic purpose. And one line you should add in that this is, and for all the presentations which you are sharing, that it is for academic purpose only. है ना, इसको लिख देंगे. Then you can share it with participants. So
Yes.
my sincere thanks to Agrawal Saab, to GEC Bilaspur whole coordinating team for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Vijay, Professor Vijay particularly for helping me with presentation, and Indrani for nice introduction and overall conduction of the program. Thank you so much. Thanks to all the participants for listening to me patiently, giving their previous time, and together let's consider, let's make all the efforts to convert waste to resources in our individual capacity also and in our professional capacity also, and let us engage with local development. Thank you. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bajpai
Thank you,
sir, for
sir.
nice presentation. It was
My
very
pleasure, sir.
and in beginning we could find some problem in connecting, but afterwards it was very smooth and very informative presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Agrawal sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
May I leave this meeting now? Sir, may I